What is up, guys? It is the Sound Alchemist, and we're still here breaking wind because Gershwan has a windbreaker, and I want him to say his name.
Gershwan.
And we're back at it in another episode of For the Greater
WAAAGH. This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below with a question in front of your question, because we get those questions first. That is what Leprechaun did. He asked,
I'm scared of leprechauns.
Yeah. What is your guys' favorite random piece of lore not covered in any video? P.S. Much love from the UK. You guys helped me get into 40K. Peace.
It's cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I would think that people in the UK are just naturally born with like a starter set. Yeah.
They come in like they're not born; they come out as a sprue.
Yeah.
The doctor
gonna put them together. But yeah. So thanks for that. Mm-hmm. And what is your favorite random piece of lore?
Lore that we haven't covered. That's hard because we've been doing this for like what?
Years and years.
Yeah, 4 years-ish.
Yeah.
But anyway, a character that I always wanted to cover, but I never did because I always wanted to make it like a really cool, interesting video, is the lore behind Garviel Loken. Loken is really badass. He has a lot to do with pretty much 30, like the lore going into 30K and like the heresy and all that. And I don't want to go too in depth because I don't want to spoil it. But if you know what Loken's all about, that would be I wouldn't even say that's obscure, but it's lore that we haven't covered yet. So Loken.
Yeah. For me, I really enjoy the orc stuff when it pertains to Brain Boys. I've kind of covered it in a couple of videos, but whenever they talk about the runt herders, not runthifers, but runt herders, the lore states that they tell stories, like they are the old men telling the stories, and they tell stories of the Brain Boys, of how they would conquer worlds, and they would basically order the other orcs around, and what they're referring to is either the old ones, or quite possibly orcs that were part of the Blood Axe gang, and they were more like Storm Boy mentality type of orcs. So that's like an obscure lore that I don't feel like I've really gotten deep into. But the Brain Boys, I really like talking about the Brain Boys.
Do you know if Brain Boys are even mentioned at all in the Orc Codex?
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
Yeah. In the I think in the Orc Codex they do say that the Brain Boys were the old ones.
Did they legit state that?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember in the latest codex. I'll check it out. But yeah.
It is October. Go buy those Orc Codices.
Yes.
Speaking of which, I'm surprised GW hasn't done anything Orc-wise for October.
Probably because they messed up last time. They said, "Oh, you guys are gonna get all this new stuff for October," and we got it in November.
Yeah, I think you got like one thing in the last week of October.
Yeah.
And then everything else came out in November.
Yep.
That was a great October.
Dicks. Next question. I have one from Octo Trooper. Why not Gersh 32,601? Because I haven't gotten to that level yet. I'm just in level 1. Yeah.
You gotta put in like some cheat codes to get them there.
Yeah.
Wes Themes 117. No offense. I'm already gonna take offense. But is the Sound Alchemist gay? Just wondering. I don't know. It's 2019. I'll let you assume. But whatever you assume, it's gonna be wrong.
Yeah, and he's gonna get upset about it.
I'm already upset.
Next question comes from Dave the Finder. Which are your favorite 40K video games? Hands down, Dawn of War.
Yes. That is the funnest time I've had playing any 40K game.
Yeah, Winter Assault, and I think that was Dawn of War 2, right? Mm-hmm. And then once Dawn of War 3 came out, then it was just kind of like,
Yeah.
But,
I didn't even play the new Dawn of War. It seemed very different than the other, the old school Dawn of Wars.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, nowadays there is a lot of 40K inspired or 40K games.
You got some mobile ones. You got card games. You got PC games.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's quite a bit, but unfortunately, there hasn't been like that one breakthrough, really great game for 40K.
Nope. What I find interesting is that GW hasn't done what like Magic the Gathering, what Pokemon, what basically all the other companies have done, and actually even Dungeons and Dragons, but create a video game that is what's on the tabletop, because it is just a game of statistics.
I think that might be too like, oh, maybe it's going to take away sales from the actual game. Where why buy hundreds of thousands of dollars when you can pay $60 and have every unit there? But it would be cool to see like, oh, maybe I want to try the Tyranids. Let me play the game, see how they work, and then buy the models.
I've always been interested in playing Warhammer. Which one's the latest one? The fantasy one?
I know what you're talking about, where it's like open world.
Mm-hmm. And then you get to command your armies and like you could do flanking and all that kind of stuff. It's basically the tabletop.
Yeah, it's kind of like Dawn of War.
Yeah.
But more, I feel like there's more tabletop aspects to it.
Yeah, because you gather, it's very like 40K-ish, because you gather your army, you pick what you're going to do, put it down on the battlefield, and then go and fight. Because that's what a tabletop is. I wish I could remember the name. Because they have a whole series of it, right?
Mm-hmm. I clearly remember like the intro where it's like the lizard men and they're fighting the Eldar. And, yeah.
It's badass. Next question.
This one is by Maverick Azur. How would a Kroot Space Marine chapter look like? Like you're saying, like if Kroot ate Space Marines? Or if Kroot wore Space Marine armor? I don't know. I think they'd look very...
spiky.
Mm-hmm.
But like not in a chaos way.
Right. They'd probably wear like skins on them and stuff like that.
Check out the 40 facts on the Blood Jaguars.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, there's a lot of fan art of Space Marines with like the feathers and the
Jaguar pelts.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what the Kroot would be, because they're kind of like feral. They're supposed to be birds, stuff like that. Speaking about birds, D&D actually released a Aarakocra mini. It looks pretty cool.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I never had one.
I know, me too.
Huh.
Next question.
This one's by Mercenary. Is it possible for Space Marine units such as Apothecaries and Tech Marines to eventually become captains and or chapter masters? I think it's rare because they're usually specialized in one set of skills. But let's say like a whole chapter dies, or maybe an apothecary somehow takes out a whole orc like encampment, then maybe they might be elevated because they're like, oh, those skills are better than just being an apothecary. Why waste that ability on that? But yeah, normally not.
Mm-hmm. It all depends on the chapter.
That's true, yeah.
Next question comes from Maverick Azur. Which Chaos God could corrupt the best known Space Marine Loyalist chapter? So first founding chapter. I think the closest we're ever going to get is Khorne corrupting the Blood Angels.
Mm-hmm. His blood and fighting and the Black Rage, the Red Thirst. That's almost teetering on Khorne territory.
Yep.
And there have been some successor chapters of the Blood Angels who have been investigated by the Inquisition for being very, like, chaotic and
bloodthirsty.
Yeah. Was it Crimson Slaughter? Is that who it was?
No, it was the Flesh Tearers.
Flesh Tearers. Crimson Slaughter was already chaos.
Yeah. I think the Crimson Slaughter bathes in blood before a war or before a battle.
You mean the Blood Tearers?
Flesh Tearers?
Flesh Tearers?
I can't remember now.
They're all the same thing.
What's funny is when I was doing the lore on the salamanders, what I wanted to do is do all of their successor chapters and like their maybe successor chapters, and you look at the list and it's just like the red dragons, the obsidian dragons, the dragon lords, like anything that has to do with dragons or fire. They don't explicitly say they're salamanders. but like even just by the decor, it's like, oh yeah, they look like salamanders. But I didn't include that in that video because I knew that if you look at their lore, they're very basic. They just give you the iconography and the like the heraldry and stuff, but that's it. So it's all assumption. And I feel like that you find that like in the Blood Angels, the Blood Angels and like the Salamanders, like it's all, there's one or two key words and every chapter has it. Something to do with blood for the Blood Angels, something to do with like flesh or something crazy like that. Next question.
This one's by Pineapple. Have you messed around with the custom characters yet? And if so, what's the most broken thing you've made? I have not, actually. Because I feel like if you create like your custom characters and stuff, they might be teetering on overpowered. So what I do for like my fan Space Marine chapter is I get a character that's already been established and I tweak like a thing or two. Like maybe I'm using this character as like my chapter master. He has the abilities and skills of Dante, but instead of having that power axe, maybe he has like a power sword and a shield. Because that way it's not like, I have this character with a 2+ save, 3+ invuln, but he's not a Terminator, so that way he has a jetpack and he can move faster. Then you're just tailoring him to be like the most badass.
Yeah, and that's cheating.
If you have a whole army like that, then it kind of takes the fun away.
Yeah.
Or not. Maybe it'd be fun to see how well,
good tier army.
This overpoweredness can go up against everything else.
Yeah, it would be hard to balance yourself though. Of like not saying like, this character that's supposed to be 1,000 points is really just 50 points. I think that's the challenge. Yeah. Next question comes from Drew Cipher. Can't you guys see who watches every day? No, YouTube doesn't give us that information. It doesn't. I don't even think it gives you who liked the video. So like it does give you a count. They say things like, okay, this many likes, this many views in that day for this specific video, but it doesn't say who exactly is viewing it. It does break it down into like, this is how many people are viewing that are not subscribers, and this is how many people are viewing that are subscribers. But that's all the information that we get from you guys, or from YouTube from you guys. Yeah, which is good, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of you guys' interaction with us, Zane says that he's here almost for every video, but he recently stopped watching after he asked a question for about 3 weeks and it was never answered. Why? We can't get to every question. Sometimes these questions get filtered out by likes. So obviously the more liked questions get moved up to the top. Sometimes if you ask the same question over and over and over again, it'll be counted as spam and be removed completely. And other times we just don't get to it because some questions require longer explanations. So if we don't get to every question, we do apologize, but we do get a lot of questions. I mean, just keep trying. Perseverance is key.
Yes, perseverance. Next question comes from Lux. Why can't they just seal the breach in the Imperial Palace? And if they fail, what if they take the portal and push it somewhere else? Well, it's a warp rift tear that you can't really, like, you have to close it with a pylon or something that's anti-chaos, which is what the Emperor is essentially doing. I guess it's like a hole in, it's like a hole on a, what is it called, dam. Like, right now, the Emperor's putting his hand up against that hole so that no water comes out. The only way to seal off that hole would be to somehow, like, but even that, it's like there's still water. Or if you go on the other side.
And dive into the chaos and plug it from that end.
I mean, you could try, but damn.
Yeah. We need that, what is it, that Flex Seal guy to be like, Emperor, move your hand, and we just checks it.
But even then, like, a little leakage will come out.
Mm-hmm. But then it'll never come out.
Maybe.
Then you can use that to row a boat on.
Yep. And those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, comment down below. We enjoy answering these questions, so keep asking them, please.
Mm-hmm. This has been the Sound Alchemist.
Gersh1.
And we are out.
Always used to put my